About a month ago, I made a video talking about Vladimir Makarov and how he fits into the Modern Warfare game, the current Modern Warfare game. We discussed how his old character fits into the new story and discussed several things that led us to believe that he's actually already in the Modern Warfare storyline in Modern Warfare 2019, including him actually planning the attack on Piccadilly Circus that we saw in the game. Today we're going to be doing something very, very similar, but with a different character. This is a character that is in Modern Warfare 2019 that we don't see on screen, but that we've seen talked about several times throughout the game, and recently there has been more things put into the game that the Shadow Company, his company of soldiers from the previous Modern Warfare games, are actually already in Modern Warfare 2019. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we are going to be talking about General Sheppard in Modern Warfare 2019. So as far as General Sheppard as a character, we don't actually know that much about his backstory. We know that he was American, born and raised, worked his way up the military until he was in command of people in the Marine Corps, on top of that the US Rangers, Task Force 141, and finally a separate company of soldiers that's going to come into play today in a huge way, known as Shadow Company. But before we dive into that part of the story, let's first dive into how we know he is already in Modern Warfare 2019. So the first time we actually hear General Sheppard's full name in the game is at the very end of the game. And here, Captain Price is talking to Kate Laswell about putting together a team of soldiers known as Task Force 141. This, of course, needs to be approved and led by someone higher up in the army, and that is, of course, General Sheppard.
We're left unchecked.
It won't be. General Sheppard pulled the files you asked for. What exactly is this about?
A task force.
We already have loose ends.
Then I will tie them.
I can fund assets, not outlaws.
Now here's the thing. This may be the first time we hear Sheppard's name in the game, but it's not the first time we actually hear about General Sheppard in the game. Let me explain. In Modern Warfare, while the hunt for Hadir is on, there's a bit of a meeting with the entire crew, as well as Kate Laswell and Colonel Norris. Now, here's the thing. Pay close attention to exactly what they say in this cutscene.
As much as we can all hear the ice in the glass, I'm afraid our toast has to wait. Hadir and his new friends are on the move.
What are they?
One step at a time.
No one said they're friends.
The general would tend to disagree.
Norris, I asked you to let me
Tell him,
handle...
Laswell, or I will.
Command has officially redesignated Farah's forces.
You want to translate that from bullshit to English?
It means they're on the list.
What list?
Foreign terror organization list. I've ordered my Marines to treat Farah's army as hostiles.
What? They're our allies.
Yeah, not anymore.
Will you keep your muppets on a short string, Colonel?
Or what?
I'll fucking earn you from it.
So here's the thing, when you first listen to that cutscene, Colonel Norris is the one that comes across as the bad guy. He says that he is the one that has commanded his soldiers to treat the Urzikstan militia as a terrorist force, when we know the real terrorist force is Al-Qatala. But earlier in that cutscene, we hear that this order was passed down by the general, aka General Sheppard.
The general would tend to disagree.
Now there is also some more information revolving around General Sheppard hidden in Modern Warfare, but to understand that information, we first need to know a little bit about General Sheppard's backstory. We first see General Sheppard in Modern Warfare 2, but that is not where his story begins. His story begins in Call of Duty 4. He works behind the scenes, and he is actually the general who makes the decision to send 30,000 soldiers into Iraq to invade to capture al-Assad. But in a big turn of events, it turns out that Makarov and Imran Zakhaev knew what was happening and detonated a nuke, killing 30,000 of General Sheppard's soldiers.
5 years ago, I lost 30,000 men in the blink of an eye. And the world just fucking watched. Tomorrow, there will be no shortage of volunteers, no shortage of patriots.
And that is where Modern Warfare 2 kicks off, with Task Force 141 being led by General Sheppard and Captain Price. Now, at the time of Modern Warfare 2, we never found out who started Task Force 141, but in Modern Warfare 2019, we find out that it was Captain Price's idea that was headed off by General Sheppard via the last cutscene in Modern Warfare. Now, in Modern Warfare 2, General Sheppard's plan was to plant a soldier behind enemy lines known as Joseph Allen, or his undercover name, Alexei Borodin. And at the time, this was a decent idea, until Makarov plans on attacking Zakhaev International Airport. And it turns out the entire time, Makarov knew that Allen was an undercover soldier, and at the end of that mission, Makarov shoots Allen, making it look like the terrorist attack was an American terrorist attack, and thus causing World War III. Now, General Sheppard uses this to his advantage, getting a blank check from the government to then go and hunt down and kill Makarov. Now, after this is when General Sheppard went crazy, because at this point, the government thinks of General Sheppard as a good guy, but really, he's one of the reasons why the Zakhaev attack actually happened. So, to cover this up, he needs to take out the soldiers who knew about this attack. That would be the Task Force 141 soldiers. And as we know, this is what ends up happening because of it.
6, stand by for rocket attack. Over. Roger. Hit him hard on that hill. Make sure they're down. Roger, I'm on it. Coming around, heading 250. Roger, I got him lined up. Gold Eagle's on the ground. Watch for snipers on thermal. Over.
You have the DSM. We've got it, sir. Good. That's one less loose end.
Area is sanitized. All targets destroyed.
So this is where things get interesting, because after this is when Soap and Price decide to go after General Sheppard, and we all know how that one ends. But that's not the interesting part here, because when they go after General Sheppard, he's still surrounded by soldiers, but not American soldiers, not Task Force 141 soldiers, a new company of soldiers. You see, General Sheppard didn't put all his eggs in one basket with Task Force 141. He also had his own company of mercenaries that he used as his own personal army, known as Shadow Company. You see, after the government gave him a blank check to take out Makarov, he took some of that money to fund his private army. And this army was a bunch of paid for private mercenaries that weren't affiliated with any individual country. Now, you may be wondering why I'm telling you this. Why is this important for what we have to talk about? And it's simple. Shadow Company is also in Modern Warfare 2019. So as you know, some of the soldiers in multiplayer belong to other divisions other than what it says in multiplayer. For example, Alex says he's in the Warcoms division, but we know he's a part of Task Force 141, as in the campaign, he was wearing the logo on his shoulder the entire campaign. Well, the same goes for Shadow Company. After the newest update to Modern Warfare, a new skin has been added for Mace. And if you take a little bit closer of a look at Mace, you may notice that on his stomach, there is a logo for something. This logo is a rook with lightning bolts coming out the side of it that is exactly the same as the Shadow Company logo. It appears as though Mace is working for Shadow Company and is working for General Sheppard. Now, this actually makes way more sense than you may think. If we actually go and look at Mace's bio, look what we can read. Mace is an ex-US Ranger turned gun for hire. Remember what I told you about all of the Shadow Company soldiers? They are all guns for hire. So it turns out that Mace is the first soldier we know of who is working for General Sheppard. Now, I haven't been able to see this logo on any of the other operators or anything like that. It seems as though Mace is the only one as of right now, but it's pretty interesting, and I'm curious to see where this story goes. And maybe in the next Modern Warfare, if that's what Infinity Ward is doing, maybe we see Mace in the story of the next Call of Duty game. But I guess we have to wait to see on that one. But I thought this was some pretty cool information about General Sheppard that is now in the game, and I'm curious what you guys think of it. So let me know what you think of the whole Shadow Company thing being in Modern Warfare down in the comments below. Also, as always, if you enjoyed the video, it is greatly appreciated if you do hit that like button. And if you like what you see, want to stay up to date on all my videos, the best way to do so is make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you have the notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too